because without you, we would have no cheerleaders, right? These young ladies have worked hard. And when I say hard, I don't just mean a little bit. They came in here Friday terrified. They had no idea what to expect. They didn't even know me. In fact, I didn't even know half of you. So thank you for trusting me with your teenagers. It has been my absolute pleasure to host this event this weekend. Not only is this the first ever, that's what teens say, Terre Haute, because if they hear it, they'll come. But, see, told you. Not the cue.
False cue.
That is never perfect. But there are a few people that I do need to thank. You parents, obviously. My wonderful speakers, I could not have done this without them. Back here on our sound is Jeanette Jerzik. She's the national director of That's What She Said. And I'm actually the producer for That's What She Said Terre Haute. It's brand new. I brought this to Terre Haute to inspire women to speak their voices, to be heard, to be seen. No other reason, no other mission. This event is raising money for Shine Foster Family Resources. I am the president of the organization, and we raise funds. We help kids that are displaced from their families, that are going into foster care, and they have nothing. We provide them clothing, we provide them beds, we provide them any support they need to be successful. There are over 1,500 children in foster care in Vigo County and less than 300 homes. So I'll let you do that math. So, without further ado, I do want to let you know that I'm going to get a little loud. Okay, I'm just going to warn you because I am so excited for you guys to hear these stories. These girls, they're going to blow you away, I promise. So, please welcome our first ever, that's what teens say, speakers.
I am not my past. Hi, I'm Katie Porter, and this is my story. I come from a small town in the suburbs of Indiana. My life was fantastic. I had loving parents, family, and friends. I had everything I could need or want. I was homeschooled and was thriving. Dance classes every week, church on Sundays, family nights, it was picture perfect. When I was 9, we took a trip to Disney and a cruise. That was my last and first big family vacation. That was in June of 2016. In July of 2016, my dad moved out and my parents started uttering the words, divorce. Because I was homeschooled, I didn't really know what that meant. I just knew that my dad, my rock, my best friend, was gone and nothing was going to be the same again. Through the divorce, we lost our family home, animals, and cars. I felt so alone. My dad moved 45 minutes to an hour away. I didn't see or talk to him, and it crushed me. When I was 12, we were finally able to settle down in a house again. Up to that point, we went from house to house, city to hotels, trying to find something stable, all while my dad was nowhere to be found. We saw him some, but not much. We settled down at my Nana's in April of 2019. Everything was finally okay. We had what we needed, and we had family. Of course, we had our ups and downs, but we had each other. I had my brother, who was a junior in high school, my cousin who was in college and came home often due to health complications. I also had my mom, my aunt, and my Nana. They were also a huge support system. They are the reason I got through this stage. January 26th of 2020, I was woken up by my mom shaking me. She said it was my cousin. It was 3:46 in the morning when we arrived at the hospital, and I immediately knew. She was gone. I didn't need someone to tell me that. I could feel it. I had grieved the loss of my dad, house, and animals, and now I grieve the loss of my best friend. A few days before she passed, I had just started public school. I remember her telling me how proud she was of me. I remember the look on her face when I told her I wanted to go to school. That was everything. That all came crashing down before me in just a second. I was numb through the funeral, along with everything that had happened after. My dad wasn't there even when I needed him most. No phone call from him, just a text saying, "I'm sorry." I blocked everything off after that, just trying to make it through. In March 2020, the whole world shut down, meaning now I had to grieve alone in my home, no grief groups, no therapy offices, or even seeing my friends. I had to learn how to cope by myself. I started self-harm. At first, it was just something to let me feel again. It wasn't until spring of 2021 that it started to become an addiction. I found myself needing it every night, like a monster that would not let me go no matter what. I craved it to some extent. My brother was in college and didn't call or text. I felt like I wasn't ready for therapy yet and not sure if I even wanted help. I got bullied for it, people saying it was gross and that I shouldn't need it. How else was I supposed to survive? If you were drowning, would you ask if the rope that you were holding would give you rug burn, or would you just hold it and survive? That's what I did. I survived. In March of 2020, I decided to quit. I threw everything away. In March of 2022, I decided to quit. I threw everything away and decided to fight for myself. The summer before my sophomore year was great. The fall was great. It collapsed in January of 2023. I was going through a major depressive episode. I didn't eat, sleep, or drink anything for a week. I stopped going to school and my teachers thought I was faking it. I was told that I could suck it up, and that was my last straw. I relapsed in March of 2023, 14 days before my 1 year free of self-harm. I hid it. I was ashamed. I went online for the rest of the year. I was not able to perform with my dance team because of absences. I was being punished for my mental health. I felt like a failure. I felt like nothing. Summer into my junior year was great. We got a new dance coach, and people were talking about captain titles. My name is being brought up now. However, I was displaced at the beginning of my junior year. My mom had fallen and broken both her arms, leaving me with a sense of feeling alone. This was the first time I had stayed with my dad in over 6 years, and even then, it was only for a weekend. The rest of the time, I was with my Nana, not knowing if she'd be home for my birthday. I relapsed from the stress of all that. The day before I left, she came home at the beginning of October. I was preparing to go on an FFA trip for 4 days. The day before I left, my school had informed me that because I had missed 13 days of school, I was not able to go to my trip. My school principal had also informed me that because of my absences for these 13 days, I would not be successful in my life. I fought hard, and they let me go for 2 days instead of the 4. December rolls around, and I find out that my GPA had fallen to a 2.9, and I had to have a 3.0 to be in National Honor Society. I love National Honor Society. The second semester, I fought hard to raise my grades, but not succeeding, even with A's and B's. I didn't get it. I relapsed again. All my efforts, and I still wasn't enough. I fought and went to summer school. I had to take 4 classes in 3 weeks while balancing a mission trip, being senior dance captain, and practicing for our 4th of July parade. It was not easy, but through it all, I raised my GPA to a 3.0, getting all A's in my classes. Fall semester, my senior year was amazing. I had football season senior night with both of my parents. Our football team even went to state, and I was able to perform at Lucas Oil Stadium. Basketball season, however, was not so great. My basketball senior night, my dad did not show. I was crushed. So crushed, I was self-destructive. I skipped school and stopped caring. I was the president of our Bring Change to My club, but I felt like my mental health didn't matter, or that it was horrible. However, I did not relapse. I hit my 1 year clean on the day that I graduated, May 24th, 2025. I graduated with honors, National Honor Society, Bring Change to My president, school dance captain, along with FFA. Everyone told me I couldn't, and I would never get better, but I fought for what I wanted and reached the top. I am now a member of the SMWC dance team, and I'm going for psychology along with minoring in equine assisted therapy. As I leave, I want to leave you with this. Always keep fighting. 3 words that helped me through. Finding God was the first turning point in my life to where I am now. You are loved, you are worthy, and you are enough, and you have the strength to get through. Always keep fighting is something all of us should carry with us. Thank you.
Hi, I am Oakley, and I am 11 years old. Today I will be talking about the obstacles I have overcome. My parents divorced when I was 10 years old. I felt sad and alone. That made my ADHD worse. I had a hard time focusing and concentrating. I found myself struggling in school. Art is my outlet. I love to draw. I am happiest when I'm drawing. Today, one day I will be an artist and singer in New York City. I can do anything I put my mind to it. So can you.
Hello, my name is Amaya, and I suffer with great depression and bipolarness. When I was little, I had to do everything myself on several occasions. This led to me becoming independent, and I didn't need anyone. Now that I've gotten older, I have learned more things and that I need a good support system. At times, I thought I had no one, and I was begging for help, and I was 6 feet under the ground buried. Life felt somewhat lost. I felt like I was misheard, like an invisible wall, talking to nothing but air, all alone in bed, thinking what was going to happen next. As I walked downstairs with a pretend joy on my face, happy to be alive in the midst of my deepest, darkest moments of depression. "You look happier, I can see it," I replied with a fake smile on my face. Yes, I am, but sadly, depression can be invisible. And that day it was. It can be miserable. I yelled out loudly, hello, but still no one can hear you except yourself and the demon in your mind taking control of your body and your brain. Those demons can be really scary and make you do bad things. This is when I pray and rely on Jesus. I know that I want to fight these demons because if I don't turn to Jesus, I will give in to the bad choices. So I try hard to be a good granddaughter for my grandma, but sometimes it feels impossible and it kills me. I know that she is trying her hardest to keep me away from myself, and I get it. I know that I am not good for me. I am focusing on being the best I can be. It feels like I was falling into a big black hole that goes miles and miles down, and sometime you will hit rock bottom. And the worst part was I couldn't get out. I was stuck. Still, I kept trying until I got it right. I am almost to the diamonds and I get tired and I wanted to stop, but I didn't. I kept pushing myself. I think we can all agree that we have these moments once in our life. Not everything is perfect. When I finally got the diamonds, I wanted to do more. I was a lot more confident that I could do more. The best part was I got my life together and I started doing things I never thought I could do. I wanted to be free, free like a bird in the night sky, long deep breaths flowing through my body as I calm down and I feel myself releasing, and suddenly I feel free. No one knows everything. My name is Stella and I am 14 years old. I do pretty good in school and sports. I play volleyball and show livestock. But I do have a sister that struggles and it impacts me. She's my younger sister, so it's only me and her. She struggles with a small diagnosis of ADHD and she can't really control it. It impacts me most of the time, feeling overshadowed by my parents, which makes me feel lonely a lot of times. When I'm feeling lonely, I like to color or read. Fun fact, my favorite show is This Is Us. She doesn't understand things the way me and other people do, which is frustrating and difficult when someone always has something to say about the way she acts. I always do and will stand up for her even when it frustrates me, because at the end of the day, no one knows everything. My parents are constantly trying to get me to understand how she is, and I really do understand everything. It's just hard to take in sometimes. Although my sister and I haven't been the closest the last couple of years, I really hope to get a good connection with her again. Even though the diagnosis isn't horrible, it still impacts me and the other people in our house. However, this has made me think of different situations and things from a completely different point of view and has made me overall a better and more mature person.
I am valid. That is one thing that my story is. Hi everybody, my name is Nora and this is my story. In 2020, I suffered from severe mental health issues to the point where I tried to take my own life. When I tell you that it wasn't easy, I truly mean it. The person that saved my life, my youth leader and guardian angel, unfortunately passed away from cancer. I felt lost and like I couldn't move forward. December 19th, 2022 was the day that completely changed my life. That day was the last day that I would be able to walk for 2 years on my own. Through many doctors telling me that I was faking it, and as my symptoms were worsening, I got diagnosed with something called functional neurological disorder. To this day, I have the worst case of FND that my children's hospital has ever seen. At my lowest, I couldn't move on my own, I couldn't talk, see, and I had to be fed through my G-tube. Think about that for a minute. My first surgery was a medical device that would allow my body to get the nutrition that it needed. On top of all that, I was also having 60 to 100 seizures a day, and I was catatonic for about a year, and I don't remember any of it. Because of all my medical trauma, I ended up getting diagnosed with PTSD. I actually ended up having many flashbacks just writing this speech. Honestly, a part of me is so angry that I had to go through all of this at the age of 14. Doctors constantly telling me that I was faking it, nurses yelling and cussing in my face when my parents left for the night, and all of the medical mistreatment that I faced. All of these trauma situations are still things that I struggle with today. You know, it scares me, not knowing if tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and need to use a wheelchair. But something that I have learned in this long journey is that my story is valid. My experiences are valid and no one can take that away from me. Yes, you can ask all of the what ifs in the world, but that won't change the past and it definitely won't help the future. Well, how did I get better? Music therapy was my biggest resource. Music brought light to the darkness that my FND is. I also had many friends and family helping me along the way. Yes, I still do face medical relapses today, but what I have learned is that my story is valid and yours is too. Never give up on what brings you joy, because now I have used my passion of music for good. I just released my first single and I continue to write music to show that you and your feelings are valid, because they are. Thank you.
10 million. 10 million people every year, 1 in 4 women, 1 in 9 men. That is how many people experience domestic violence. Hello, my name is Mackenzie and I am 1 in 10 million. I myself was in a violent relationship for 6 months. Over those 6 months, he would hit me, choke me, scratch me, burn me, and lock me in his room and restrain me if I ever tried to leave. He would slam me into walls, leaving holes, and bang my head off of dressers. He would make me watch him burn and cut himself. While all of this happened, I was also fighting for my life, looking for a reason to stay. I actually tried to take my life because I thought it was the only way to make it stop. I finally got sent to the psych ward, and when it happened, he promised to stop doing all these things, but it only got worse. And it wasn't just physical anymore, it became mental too. He forced me to cut off everyone, including my own mom. He would constantly tell me I was the reason he was going to overdose and make me watch him take 10 to 15 pills. I knew it was getting bad when it started affecting the people around me. I watched my own mother distance herself from me because of the way he treated me, and I wouldn't listen to anything she said about him. My best friend stayed by my side though. Even though I was so distant, she stayed. She made sure I wasn't going through it alone. She's the reason I made it out of that relationship. If it wasn't for her, I would either be in that relationship still or not on this earth. She's truly the reason I make it through every day. She needs me and I need her. I am now in therapy wanting to overcome my trauma. I am living my life with no hesitation, not worrying if I'm going to be peed on later. And I choose to be in programs that help me share my story. I feel as if my story is important for people to hear, especially if they are or have been through this type of thing. With that being said, I want you to know that if you have been or are going through domestic violence, you are not alone. I, a 15-year-old girl, got through it. Even when I was given a reason to stay. You can do it.
My name is Kaden, and I am passionate and love tumbling. I started competing tumbling at 9 years old. I started competing in regular competitions, then went to state competitions. My first state competition, I got 5th place. In 2022, I went to nationals in Florida and got 21st place in the nation. I went to our tumbling team's host competition in 2023. During the competition, I broke my left foot, which prevented me from going to state and nationals. After healing in 2024, I went to state and got 1st place. I then went to nationals in Kentucky and placed 1st out of my flight, and then placed 1st out of advanced beginner level. After the season ended, I decided to take a break and try volleyball. However, I would like to start tumbling again this year in September.
Hi everybody, my name is Nora, and this is my original song called The Unknown. Time flies by in so many ways, and I just can't take all this aching pain. I see my breath in the air at night, my feet are on the ground, and I stand upright. But how far can I go before I'm in the ground beneath my feet? My hands are shaking, my heart is racing, and I can't take this feeling of the unknown. Memories are something I keep losing. I see the path that only just so far. This weight on my heart just feels so heavy. My head sinks down and these waves are messy. 'Cause how far can I go before I'm in the ground beneath my feet? My hands are shaking, my heart is racing, and I can't take this feeling of the unknown. 'Cause how far can I go before I'm in the ground beneath my feet? My hands are shaking, my heart is racing, and I can't take this feeling of the unknown, of the unknown. 'Cause how far can I go before I'm in the ground beneath my feet? My hands are shaking, my heart is racing, and I can't take this feeling of the unknown.
Please don't leave. I have a few more things I wanted to cover. Can I have that program? I owe some special thanks, and it's really important to me that I thank the people that made this possible. I could not have pulled this weekend off without these ladies. Stand up. These are the mentors that have worked with me for the last 3 days to get these girls where they are today. This is Shannon, Myra, and Brittany. And I could not have done this without them, ever. So thank you ladies very much. Also, we had several sponsors. I want to mention Jimmy John's fed the kids really well yesterday. Girls, yes they did. CSX Transportation and First Farmers Bank and Trust. Also, Amazing Real Estate did a lot for the weekend. They provided swag bags for the girls, as well as financial support for teens that could not afford to come. I would like to thank IDK, Free Strike Foods, Grand Traverse Pie Company. Sorry, I have a lot of sponsors. I'm not sorry, actually. Coca-Cola, Sugar Studio, Bear Coffee, The Rice Family, McAllister's Deli, and Sign Gypsies. And I want to thank all of you for coming out. Thank you for coming, everyone, and thank you for trusting us with